Hi, it's Steph, and we're at Lowe's, and all of their summer blooming bulbs have arrived. So let's go ahead and take a look at what they've got. They have quite a good amount of perennials this year in these garden kits or these boxes. So let's take a closer look at what varieties they have available in these garden perennial kits. So this one here is Oriental Lily. It's a mixed bulb pack here. It's a perennial plant, full sun to partial shade, great cut flowers, and they are very fragrant. That I can attest to because I have these in my garden. And it's $14.98 and you get 12 bulbs. And then they also have some iris. This is Siberian Iris Mixed. And these are full sun to partial shade, deer resistant, attracts butterflies, and you get 4 plants for $14.98. That's a really pretty combination. Yellow and purple are opposite on the color wheel, so they're very complementary to each other in the garden. Liatris, also known as gay feather, really nice vertical interest perennial, and the bees love these. They open up similar to the foxglove where they start blooming, actually opposite. The foxglove blooms from the bottom up, and this one blooms from the top down. This looks like it's a purple and white mix. Some peonies, or how I like to say it, peonies. And Sarah Bernhardt is a great variety. It has a really ruffly appearance in this beautiful light pink, very reminiscent of a rose. And here you get 3 peony tubers for $14.98. These are full sun, great for cut flowers, and they're very fragrant. This one smells amazing. They also have some Rudbeckia or Black-Eyed Susan. The centers on them are more brown than black, but they are called mostly Black-Eyed Susans. These are a great perennial. They're a workhorse perennial. They come back every year, and they are a mid to late summer perennial. Sometimes they last through fall. If you give them a good cut back and deadhead them, you can get a secondary flush. Also great for butterflies and bees. They are full sun, partial shade, deer resistant. I can attest to that because I have lots of deer in my garden, and they don't seem to bother these. You get 5 plants for $14.98. Here's another Asiatic lily mix. This is a different color variety. It looks like you get pink, yellow, orange, white, and a burgundy. And again, you get 12 bulbs for $14.98. And they also have some coneflower, which is great. I don't see these often in these type of multi-packs. So the coneflowers here, for $14.98, you get 7 plants. They say they are full sun, partial shade, deer resistant. In my garden, they will snack on these if I don't spray repellent on them. So proceed with caution in terms of deer resistance, and they certainly attract pollinators. The bees and butterflies love these. And it looks like you get a mix here. So you're either going to get some pink, some yellow, some white, might get some orange, or they might be Cheyenne Spirit where you get all of these colors in one plant. But that is a good deal if you're looking to add some coneflower. These bare root plants might be a good option and more affordable. And then they have these mixed hostas. So if you have a shady area in your garden and you're looking to add some color through some beautiful foliage, hostas would be a great option. You should know that if you have deer, this is like deer salad. They do like to eat them, but they are very beautiful and offer a lot of texture and color to a shady spot in the garden. So here you get 4 plants for $14.98. It's a perennial, full shade, partial sun, great in patio pots, and good for shade gardens. I have used these in pots, and they are great in pots actually. And they come back every year, and these are a great plant for dividing. So you can start with a couple, and in a couple of years you can divide them, and they're the plant that just keeps on giving and giving. Some annuals here with the dahlias. Now in some warmer zones you can probably leave these in the ground throughout the winter. Here in my zone 6B we cannot. They have to be lifted in fall after the last frost and stored for the winter. So that's what I've been doing with mine. They are a beautiful flower, but a little bit of work when you do have to lift them. We'll look at some of those varieties shortly, but let's take a look at some more lilies. So here's some more Asiatic lily. These here are $6.98 and you get 4 bulbs. This is the Landini, which looks to be a very dark burgundy purple color. Really beautiful. Let's see how tall they are. So these like full sun, they want to be planted to a depth of 8 inches, 3 bulbs per square foot. They bloom in summer and they are 35 to 39 inches in height. And the hardiness is zones 3 through 9. And then this really pretty red lily. So if you wanted to add red to the garden, this one is called Ducati. And it returns year after year, multiple blooms per bulb, 6 bulbs for $6.98. Let's see how tall this one is. So it likes full sun, plant to 8 inches, 3 per square foot, blooms in summer, 40 to 44 inches. So this one is a bit taller than the Landini. And I have this variety in my garden. It is beautiful, very large white bloom. They need a little bit of support with staking because of the weight of the bloom. Smells divine. This one is called Casablanca, and you get 6 for $6.98. These are 35 to 47 inches in height, zones 4 through 9. Some tiger lily. These have a really interesting look. These are almost like the Madigan or Madagar lilies. Correct me in the comments if I said that wrong, but the ones that kind of hang downward, really cool spotting. They look like tigers. And these lilies, Tiger Splendens, they are full sun and you get to be about, 36 to 40 inches in height. And they bloom in summer, hardies in zones 3 through 9. Really cool. If you like orange in the garden, those are a real pretty one. And then here's some more hosta. These are the hosta blue mixed. So you get 3 blue variety hostas for $6.98. Now, when you are adding hostas to your garden, it always provides even more interest when you go with different shade foliage. So blues, greens, the ones that have two-tone foliage, green and yellow, green and white, really pretty options as far as the hosta go. And then some more really beautiful peonies. So I have this one in my garden as well, Sorbet. I bought it from Bare Root, so I haven't seen it bloom yet, maybe this year. Bare Root peonies take a little bit longer to bloom than, say, an established plant. And what's going to tell you how many blooms you're going to get is how many eyes the peonies have. Now, the good thing about these clear packages is it gives you the opportunity to inspect the tuber. So you can kind of take a look and poke around to see if there's any active growth points. That's always a good indication of a nice healthy tuber. And the more eyes the tuber has, the more bloom stems you'll get that year. So it does take, from Bare Root, maybe 2 to 3 seasons before you get a good sized plant. But for the price savings, it is sometimes worth the wait if you have the patience. So here it's $6.98 for 1 tuber. And this one, let's see how big it gets. They are full sun and they get 28 to 36 inches in height, hardy in zones 3 through 8. Peonies are really long-living plants. They're known as heirloom plants. They are just stunning. They're a late spring, early summer bloomer. Here, this one is Shirley Temple. I also have this one. I have about 5 varieties in my garden at the moment. Deer resistant. The deer do not bother these. I can vouch for that. Very fragrant. And these are, again, $6.98 for 1 tuber. So in this Shirley Temple, when I turned it around, you can see right there that it has an eye. An eye is that growth sprout that you see there. So these clear bags are really helpful to be able to examine your tuber for health, etc. So there's actually, if you shake some of this away, there's actually some more eyes. So that is a good sign. And this variety here, Shirley Temple, gets to be 32 to 36 inches tall. So a middle of the border plant. And hardy in zones 3 through 8. Here's a really pretty bleeding heart. This one is called Dicentra spectabalis. Deer resistant, hummingbird friendly. They are deer resistant. They don't touch them in my garden. These are really pretty spring blooming perennial. Now, they are mostly noted as a shade plant. It says here light partial shade, but I will tell you that I have seen these planted in sun, and they actually sometimes seem to do even better in sun and get much larger with tons of blooms. So I would say that this one can handle a bit more sun than they have a reputation of handling. So here you get 2 plants for $6.98, and they get to be they're hardy in zones 2 through 9, so very hardy. They bloom late spring to early summer, and they're 27 to 35 inches in size, so height and width. So this is a great option for a perennial garden. Some canna lilies. Now these are not hardy in most zones. If you live in a colder region, this would be an annual that does have to get protected, brought in, the tubers saved, and overwintered, just like you would dahlias. But that is a really pretty mix, and these look great in like containers, and for a tropical vibe, say on a patio or around a pool. Really pretty option. Here you're getting 3 bulbs for $6.98. Here's another gorgeous peony, and this one is called Coral Sunset. I also have this one. It almost goes through 3 colors. It goes through this hot coral color when it first emerges, and then it fades to like a lighter pink, salmon color, and then even a cream. Really pretty. And this one here, it's hardy in zones 3 through 8, 24 to 28 inches in height. Really pretty. $6.98 for one. And this year I've noticed that they're using these pine shavings, which usually they use peat moss, and so it looks like they're trying to stay away from some peat, which has become an environmental concern, right? I thought I saw an eye on this one. In any case, I have also stored my dahlia tubers in these pine shavings. There we go. There's an eye. So you always want to kind of inspect these and try to find at least one eye when you're looking for tubers. But yes, as I was saying, I did store my dahlia tubers in some pine shavings last year, and they did pretty well. This year I'm trying a new method of storing them in paper bags, so we'll see how that goes. And I have these in my garden also. Stargazer lilies, really beautiful. They have that gorgeous pink center with that freckling and some white around the edges. So here you get 6 bulbs for $6.98. And let's see here. They are full sun. You can plant 3 per square foot. They bloom in late summer, 35 to 47 inches in height in zones 4 through 9. Look at this. They also have a tiger lily mix. Those look real pretty. Get this like salmon color, a pink with maroon, some yellow, that white and maroon color. Really pretty. So you get 7 bulbs for $14.98. And some more perennials in these boxes. This here is Aguilegia, or Columbine. These are also another really great shade, part sun, garden type plant. They have a really interesting petal, almost like a little cup with the petals behind. They're just really cool looking. They almost look like some of them little fairies. And these here you get 7 plants for $14.98. This is the Macana Giants mix. Some more partial shade perennials, a Stilby. These are beautiful. From bare root, it took mine until year 2 before they sent out some really pretty blooms. They like a well-draining but moist soil. So if you have an area that dries out too quickly, you'll want to provide some supplementary water. These are partial shade, deer resistant, attract butterflies. You get 3 for $14.98. Really pretty mix too, pinks and white. So it gives you some information in the back. Plant them to a depth of 4 inches. They bloom early to mid-summer, and they get to be 32 to 40 inches in height and width. So really great plant, and you can even leave the stalks up or the bloom spikes up after they've finished blooming, and they still provide some really pretty interest in the garden. Look at this peony mix. You get the Hawaiian Coral and Flame. I believe this is the actual one that I have. I have the Hawaiian Coral Peony and not this one here, the Coral Sunset. Yep, this is the one that I have. It goes through a little variation of color, really pretty. And look at this other one here. So Hawaiian Coral and Flame, 2 plants. So my guess is that you get 1 of each for $14.98. So keeping with that tropical vibe, if you want to plant cannas and you want to have some really impactful foliage that looks tropical, elephant ears are a great option. So they have these really giant ones for $14.98. They're maybe the size of a grapefruit, but not quite size of a cantaloupe. Really good size. Look at those beautiful leaves. Huge tropical leaves, great for containers. You get one bulb for $14.98. So these want to be planted about 6 inches deep. They grow 36 to 60 inches in height and width, so really good size plant. This will definitely give you impact. And the foliage lasts summer through fall. If you live in a colder region like I do, you will have to protect these. You'll have to keep these in a cool, dark spot to overwinter them. And also, another note is that if you want to end up with a lot of this lush foliage earlier on in the season, it's a good idea to give these guys a head start. So I would say, maybe 6 weeks out from your last frost date, pot these up in some soil. If you have a greenhouse, you can put that out, in the greenhouse. If you don't, you can put them on a heat mat or even in just a south-facing sunny window in a pot with some potting soil so that you can get some foliage going ahead of the growing season. So in addition to these really big ones, they also have the regular size elephant ears. So they're not quite as big, maybe the size of a mango. And these here are $7.98 with that really pretty green foliage. They have very nice heart-shaped leaves, just a really cool looking plant. And the one that I'm going to pick up this year, and this is the first time that I've seen these available as a bulb here at my store. Black Magic elephant ears. Look at that cool dark foliage. So I'm going to try these this year. I'm going to grab 2 of them. Let's see how big these get. So this one here, Colocasia Black Magic. It likes partial shade and it gets 44 to 48 inches in height. So still pretty good size, and this foliage color is just really cool. All right, let's take a peek through some of their dahlias. So they have the Crazy Love, Blue Boy. This is a cool orange painted one here, Painted Madam. Look at this one, looks like a sunny side up egg. Seattle, looks like a white with yellow. Some more Crazy Love and some more Blue Boy, and then they have a couple other ones here. So Hawaii and Tahiti Sunrise, and then this Fire and Ice, which looks like it's going to be a smaller dahlia, maybe good for a container. Let's see. Yep, this one's 18 to 24 inches in height, hardy in zones 8 through 10, and plant about 1 per square foot. So this would be a good option for a container. That's a really pretty looking, either orange and white or a red and white. Here's another decorative mixed. Here you get 3 bulbs for $9.98. Mystery Day, $9.98 for 2. Kelvin Floodlight. This is a very popular yellow variety. This Color Spectacle, which looks to be an orange with white tips. And Lady Darlene. And then they have this really pretty pastel mixed up top here. Looks like you get 3 for $9.98. And then there's this one here. These look like the anemone type or seed grown dahlias. And it's the rainbow mixed. Great for cuff flowers. You get 3 for $9.98. A large pack of gladiola. So if you like glowing gladiolas, these are deer resistant, great for cut flowers. You get a mixed bag here, 60 for $19.98. Nice clear bag, so you can inspect these for any signs of mold or rot. These look pretty good. They're nice and firm, and gladiolas like full sun. Plant 5 per square foot. They bloom in summer and they get to be 48 to 60 inches tall. Hardy in zones 8 through 10. Although I have to tell you, I've left some gladiolas planted because I just didn't want to lift them. And I'm in zone 6B and they are kind of in a protected spot. There's a lot of things planted up and around them and they've come back for me. So you just never know. And check out this beautiful dahlia. This is a small bloom dahlia. And you get 2 bulbs for $9.98, and this one's called Kelsey Annie Joy. Great for cut flowers, multiple blooms per bulb. This one's really cool. I would be tempted to pick this up, except that I have the HS single date, which looks very similar. And I have 3 of them, so I'm hoping at least one of them overwinter. And let's see, this one here, you plant 1 bulb per square foot, and they get 24 to 32 inches. This would also be possibly a good option for a container. Blooms summer through fall, and hardy in zones 8 through 10. Now dahlias, they get going a little bit later in summer, but you know what? They bloom all rest of summer, all fall, until you get a hard frost. And this is a really pretty red one. It's called Garden Wonder. You have a couple of buying options when it comes to your lilies. You can get the bag, where you get 8 bulbs for $9.98. And they also have those boxes that we saw earlier, where you get 12 bulbs for $14.98. This is a really beautiful dahlia. I've seen this one quite a bit. It's called Milena or Milena. Yeah, one of those is right. And you get 2 for $9.98. But look how beautiful that is. And let's check out the specs on this one. So it likes full sun, plant to 6 inches of depth, bloom. You want to plant 1 per square foot, blooms summer through fall. And these are 32 to 40 inches in height. Hardy in zones 8 through 10. And again, they're in the pine shavings, so you can kind of take a look and see if there's any eyes or growth points. With dahlias, you want to kind of check the weight of the package, make sure that they have some weight to them and that the tubers are not too shriveled or dehydrated. That'll give you the best chance of having a healthy, viable tuber. And then there's this other variety on the side of it called Tyler James. It looks like a hot orange with some yellow. Really pretty. Here's a really beautiful gladiolus mix. This one is the berry mix. Deer resistant, great cut flowers. You get 25 bulbs, so if you have less space and you can't plant the 50 or 60 we saw in the other bag, for $9.98 you can plant 25 of them. And here you go, full sun, 48 to 60 inches, hardy in zones 8 through 10. Gladiolas are another one that sometimes could benefit from some staking. They sell those rings you can kind of place in the ground to sort of hold them up, but they are really striking blooms. They also have some veggies like seed potatoes. They have the red Norland, and you get 4 seed potatoes for $3.98. They have the Kennebec. These are 2 good varieties for our zones. I've tried both of them, and while I wasn't very successful with the potato growing, they do say that these are really good in my zone 6B, the Kennebec and the red Norland. And they have some of these really cool blue seed potatoes and some sweet potato. There's also a russet mix. This one is called Russet Burbank. And then onions. Here are some onion sets or seed onion, and you get a mixed variety here. Full sun, harvest in summer. You get 90 sets for $3.98. Some red Baron red onion, 90 sets for $3.98. And then they have some Stuttgarter yellow onions, and you get 90 sets for $3.98. And then there's some rhubarb. I've actually never seen rhubarb. Let's check that out. Look at that. Victoria rhubarb. Full sun, harvest late spring to early summer. You get 1 plant for $3.98. Look at the color on those stems. So beautiful. And what do these look like? It's in there somewhere. There's an eye, so that's a good sign. But really interesting. Some garlic, and I was under the assumption that garlic was planted in the fall for a summer harvest, but someone told me there are 2 varieties of garlic. There's soft neck that you plant at this time of year in spring for a summer harvest, and then there's some that you plant in the fall. So I have a little bit to learn about garlic, but something interesting I thought to, that I learned about in one of my comments in my last video. This one's onion snowball. You get 90 sets for $3.98. And asparagus. Now, asparagus is a great perennial vegetable. So if you have a corner of a bed or an area in the garden that you can plant these bare roots, they will take a couple of years to pick up. You would want to soak these in water for a little bit of time, maybe a couple of hours before you plant them. Give them some space, and I believe it takes about 3 years before asparagus plants become really productive. But these are a great vegetable to grow because they're perennial. Plant them once, they come back every year, similar to strawberries. So this variety here is Mary Washington. It's full sun, harvest late spring to early summer. And you get 3 plants for $3.98. Some grapes. These are some seedless varieties. This is seedless Concord and seedless Himrod. These are full sun, and you harvest them in late summer, early fall, at least here in my zone. And yeah, really good looking starts here. The Chicago Hardy Fig, $10.98 for a fig plant, or I should say a fig tree. Eventually it will become a fig tree. Some Hardy Kiwi. These are, it says they're prolific bloomers or prolific producers. The variety is called Prolific. These, I believe, are smaller kiwi, more bite size, and $10.98 for one of those. And Blueberry Jersey. Raspberries. Let's see what variety they have in the raspberries. So they have Heritage, Brandywine, and Lantham down here. And these are all $10.98 for a bare root plant. And then you have some strawberries. There's TriStar, Ozark Beauty, and All Star. And if you're going to start strawberries, you also want to have lots of room for those. And there are 2 varieties. There's the June bearing that bear once and then they're done. And then there's the every bearing where you'll get sporadic berries throughout the growing season. Birds also really like berries, so in order for you to be able to get some, you probably will have to offer your berry plants some protection with some netting, etc. At least that has been my experience. And the last really cool thing that I saw here at my store was that they have these pre-planted bulbs in these plastic planters. So if you don't want to fuss with having to make your own containers, you can actually buy some already put together. So the varieties that they have here, they're called Patio Collection pre-planted bulbs. You're paying $24.98, and they have a few varieties. There's Begonia Collection. There's a Calla Lily Mixed. There's a peony one, which I'm kind of curious to see how that would work out, especially because peonies need a couple of years to establish. It's possible that they have a more mature tuber in there, but you would get the Peony Alexander Fleming, and that's $24.98. And they also have Peony Duchess de Nemours. Let's see if we can find any other varieties. Nope, that seems to be it. So there's the peonies, there is the calla lilies, and there are the begonias. Remove packaging, water, and grow. Well, that's the end of the tour at Lowe's today. I hope that you've enjoyed your time with me checking out the inventory of the summer blooming bulbs. And here is what I'm going to pick up today. I'm going to get 2 of these beautiful Black Magic Elephant Air bulbs. So as always, thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button, and please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos. And we'll see you soon.